Hello, and welcome back. In this video, we are going to look at Vim. Now, in the previous videos, we have looked at Nano, which is a simple text editor for really small jobs, quick changes, file changes, and so forth. Update small config files. However, we're now going to look at Vim. Vim is an advanced text editor, much more capable than Nano. Highly configurable. It's been around for quite some time. It's also very hardened. It's really short for VI Improve, and VI is a much older sort of parent of Vim, and that was extended and updated with additional features to become Vim. Okay, so let's get straight and look at that. So let's look at the man page for Vim. Okay, so as you can see, to start Vim, you're simply just calling Vim on the command line. You can pass options and files or specific information if you have tagged resources and so forth. And that will open with that specific file. If you have a file that's already existing file, if you don't, if you open Vim with a new file name, it will create that file similar to this. Vim with a new file will create that file, and you can edit and save that file. So we're going to look at both scenarios. But the first thing that I'll say while opening Vim is that Vim followed by the file. If you open that file, then Vim will look like this by default. This is looking at the content of the file. However, Vim is highly configurable, and in the end I'll show you what my configured Vim look like once I complete the basic demo. Okay, good. So in Vim, the first thing you will encounter is that Vim is not editable by default. When you open a file, you are normally in what we call normal mode, which is mainly viewing. You can navigate and view the file and do various changes to the file, but you're unable to edit the file per se. Traditional editors, once you open a traditional editor like Nano or say Microsoft Word, something, you immediately can start typing into that stream of characters and adding your own changes to the file. Vim has got many different modes, so you'd have to get your head around the modal editor paradigm in order to understand. So the first thing you do before you do anything else, if you want to edit a file and you want to insert new text into the current document, you navigate to the point where you want to start the editing, and you will enter into insert mode. Now, navigating Vim is very interesting. You have you can use arrow keys if you're a beginner, if you're just starting out. If you're more advanced, then you start to use additional navigation keys in Vim. Vim has got lots of navigation key sequences, which is famous for the efficiency that you get from staying on the home row without moving about, and you would be able to navigate the entire file and the entire file system just keeping your hands on the traditional keyboard home row. So that's a useful thing. Lots of people pride themselves on the efficiency that they get from that kind of setting and capability. So if we go down, if I go into insert mode by pressing I, then you can see I can start to edit right away. I can go, I can take that out. This is Good, so I'm just typing like normal. So that's in insert mode. So when you're in insert mode, you can edit the document with regular keystrokes. However, once you complete that insert mode, you can see insert mode in the bottom corner here, you would hit the escape key to exit the insert mode. Okay, that's half of the job done. So you've created a buffer, a file, and you've done some changes to it, or you've opened an existing file and you've done some changes to that file. Now it's time to save that file. While you're in normal mode, if you select the colon character, it goes into what we call command mode. And in command mode, you can type additional commands which Vim will execute. So here, W, which means write in Vim, colon W in command mode, enter, and there you have it at the bottom. The file I've just modified, and it's been written successfully. But you're still in Vim. So now, how do you exit Vim is the question. In the same command mode, which is colon Q. That's it. Just Q and enter. That exit Vim. So you have successfully, if you've done that, you have successfully opened an existing file, made some changes in insert mode, saved the file in command mode, and close Vim in command mode. And that's the basics of getting the idea. If you're in a sticky spot and you're on a system, there's no nano, there's nothing else, well, you need to edit a file without any advanced knowledge. That's all you need to be able to do. But because Vim is so advanced, so much capabilities, you have to be very delicate on the keyboard initially, because every single key means something to Vim. So, and that will change, depends on which mode you're in. So for example, let's go back in again. If we go to, let's create a new file. So if you start Vim with config, let's call it something random. Okay, so new file, so I'm creating a new file. By doing that, Vim will effectively create this file. And that file is here. You can see that I'm in this file now. If I want to go insert mode, letter I, insert mode, now I'm ready to start adding content to the document. Good, so you add some content to the document, and once you finish editing the file, you go escape, followed by colon W, write. Now I've saved my changes to that file, and we can either continue editing or we can close the document also. Or now, I want to show you a little bit more of the magic of Vim. So in Vim, while in normal mode, you can navigate through the document, navigate using the arrow keys, but you're not able to edit the document. You can navigate. So for example, because, as I mentioned, all the keys on the keyboard have different significance, depends on the mode that you're in. While in normal mode, if I do the letter, for example, YY, which in Vim lingo means to yank the current line, so that's YY. And if I go down and go P, that will paste. So Vim idea of copying and pasting is yanking and putting, or pasting. So yank and paste, yank or put, people have different ways, but more or less it's equivalent to copy and paste. Now, there's lots of magic and macros exist within Vim. For example, seeing that I have, if I go YY, which is letter Y twice, that means I've yanked that line, and that line is now in my register. If for whatever reason I should type 10, just 10, 1, 0, 10, and then paste, it will paste that 10 times. So Vim can do incredible things very quickly, and there are lots and lots of tutorials online that will help you to build your Vim skill and teach you how to configure your Vim. There are also lots of plugins available, lots of starter plugins. I say if you want to get into Vim, start with Vim with no plugin. Learn the absolute basic, how to open a file, how to modify a file, how to change modes, and then slowly work your way up. And if you're accustomed to a different editor, start looking for one-to-one relationship with what you're accustomed to in Vim. Over time, you will realize that Vim can do all the things their editors can do and more. And that's where the magic comes in. And the next advantage is Vim is one of those editors that's available on most, if not every Linux system out of the box. It's just there as a default installation. And if you don't have Vim, you'll have VI. And VI is considered a lighter version of Vim. Doesn't have all the capabilities, but some of the basic navigation and the modal behavior is also a part of VI. So you've seen it. So you see I managed to insert lines into the document without going into insert mode. That was all done in command mode. And you can do lots of things. I use Vim personally on a daily basis. It's my primary editor. So I could demonstrate a bit more, but I will leave that for a specific video where we focus on configuring Vim. But for now, hopefully that gave you some insight into what is available to you and how to get started. So now if I want to get out, I will :W for saving. That will write the file. Q for quit. And in some cases you will see, if I go back, you will see someone do something like this. If I make a change, so I made a new change to the file, you can do :W and Q together. These two commands together will write and quit. So you'll see this more often than people doing it. If you intend to stay in the document and continue editing, then you won't need to quit. But if you are going to write the document and then quit out of that, this is what you do. That's it. So you've seen opening a file, editing a file in Vim. Now the next thing I'd want to introduce you to is to my personal config and what I've done with Vim. So if I go to my, now let me go M. So what I did here, I just renamed my config directory just to prevent Vim from loading in my customizations. What I'm doing, I'm renaming it back. So I'm moving the file name back from underscore to .vim. So once you use Vim, there'll be a .vim directory in your home folder. Because of the dot, that becomes a hidden file. You need to search for that in using specific flags on your ls, like minus a, in order to see that. Now, by doing that, I should be back to normal. If I go back to where I was, and if I'm now looking in the directory, if I go vim, new file, you can see what happened. Vim's a bit different. You can see that I now have line numbers down the side. You can pause the video and go back to look at what it was before. I've got line numbers. I also have specific modal information on the bottom here. I've got the file name, got the character set, word count, percentile of the file. So I get lots more information, and all that information is available to you in Vim. You just need to configure it, and that's when it's best you spend some time slowly building up your configuration, because there are lots of off-the-shelf, lots of already pre-baked configuration that you will pull in, but you will never know exactly what it does. And it's best for you to build your own config up. You can put your own customizations and keys to suit your style. So if you're going to use Vim, it is because you want to make your personal preferences. It's not necessarily because you want to have all that config shipped to you, or else you just might as well use some pre-baked editor. So that's the beauty about Vim. What else can I say? As you know, I'm a little bit biased. I use Vim a lot. So let me go back to, so for example, yeah, you can see that I have got capability in view the directory system using Vim. I can use the file system in Vim. I can open additional files. And if I should open a code file, it looks like that in Vim. Nicely colored, nicely organized. I can go through, I can make edits, I can make change, and I also have so there you go. That's just a basic view into what you can do with Vim. But for further reading, I would recommend looking at the Vim man page. You can also build into Vim, if I go back to, Vim and I go to that file, if I go here, in Vim, if you go to command mode and you type help, Vim will open its internal help document, which will explain to you just about everything you need to know about Vim. And also explain to you here a very interesting command called Vim tutor. Now, if I close my Vim by :Q, close both windows. Let me just close that for you. If Vim doesn't want to close, I will force it by putting an exclamation mark. That should close it. I don't want to save the changes I've made. It was mainly for a demo. Now, if I go Vim tutor, which is a very interesting command to support your Vim learning, Vim tutor will open in this fashion. And it's more of an instructional side to Vim, where it will take you on a journey to learn the Vim motions, how to navigate the file, some of the shortcuts, some of the capabilities, and how to accomplish basic navigation. And it goes on to a substantial level. If you follow this all the way through the end, by the end you will be a substantially advanced Vim user, because it also challenges you to push a little bit beyond the basics. Now, I think that is a great summary. That's a great introduction to Vim. If you've never used it or you've heard lots of jokes about Vim, this is what it looks like at a basic level. And thank you for watching. Hope you find that interesting, and catch me in the next video where we will look at additional tools and possibly a few more editors. Still going through 71 of the most used command line tools. Thanks for watching.